Hey everyone, it's Darlene, and it's time for the very truthful homeschool mom tag. All right, let's get into this. Today's video is hosted by Ingrid of the Ingrid Chronicles, and she tagged me to do this very truthful homeschool mom tag. So we're going to be keeping it real today, starting right off with my non-styled hair. Keeping it real. I did actually get a shower and some makeup today, so woohoo! So we're going to be answering some questions today, and I just printed them off. Okay, so I took a screenshot and I printed them off. So I have not prepared any answers, so y'all beware. Okay. All right. First question is, how many years have you been homeschooling? Okay, we've been homeschooling since 2005. So that would make this our 16th year. Gosh, I can't believe it's been that long. Holy moly. How many curriculums have you used throughout the years? I can't even count. Let me tell you this. Okay, so when I started in 2005, I started with a Becca homeschool curriculum, and we did the parent-led education, and I did that for several years. We were 5 years into it, and that's when I learned that my daughter had some learning challenges. And so while I was taking that whole year off of formal education for her, I kept using Abeka, and I tried to find something that would fit for my daughter. And then ever since then, it's been a full-time job learning how my children learn and what curriculum fit their learning styles. With my daughter leading the way, we used all kinds of different curriculums. We have done everything from just making our own curriculum, like using materials from the library, YouTube on the scene now, and we started using videos for that. I have purchased curriculum like teaching textbooks. We have used classical conversations when my kids got into older grades. Let's see, Right Start Math, we used Alpha Omega publications. Saxon Math that we did there for algebra for a little while. Whew, yeah, that was not a favorite. We used Visual Latin, was we had Latin that we did for grammar section there in school. That's when we joined Classical Conversations. And I still have that, and I actually enjoyed that. We use a lot of apps now too. So we use like Duolingo, which is a free app that you can use to learn all kinds of different languages. We do utilize online platforms, online teachers, teaching teachers or something like that, where I find I have a membership there, and I pay, next to nothing for materials from them. I've done unit studies. I'll search through the unit studies. We also use our American Heritage Girls badge book, and we use that for a lot of topics and unit studies. In fact, one year for our homeschool co-op, year before last, I had actually planned out the entire year for the ages that I taught. I just planned out the entire year using those unit studies or using that American Heritage Girls book and using the unit studies. So we studied like marine biology, or we studied about inventors, and we had lots of projects to do with that because the requirements are so intensive. We learned about building gardens. We learned about citizenship and our country. Anyway, so if you're an American Heritage Girl, you should look at that book. You can incorporate that in with your studies. As far as a least favorite, I've already mentioned that our least favorite was the Saxon Math. Hooey. Even Abeka Math was not very good for my daughter, my oldest daughter, who has sensory processing disorder. So we were looking for other things. That's when we got into Right Start Math. That has a lot of manipulatives, and she's very hands-on. Tactile learning, kinesthetic learning, that is her. And I loved that Right Start Math because it was it was visual, it had a lot of manipulatives, and we played a lot of games. And so we do that as well. We incorporate games into school for strategic thinking, logic, for spelling. We use Scrabble for spelling. That's fun. We can have fun doing that. And we've used Yahtzee for math. Just for fun. We've played Risk. So anyway, those were some of the things that we have done. As far as my favorite, I don't know if I have a favorite. I really liked the format of Classical Conversations. And I just think if we had different people to work with and a different campus, things might have gone differently for us. It just kind of left a little bit of a sour taste. So we're just not, and again, it's nothing against classical conversations. That is just that was just our personal experience. I still use the books that I purchased for that. I still use the literature that we're reading. And so I have kept them all. The only thing I haven't kept is that math book. Ooh, doggy. Do you plan your homeschool for the whole year, monthly, weekly, or just wing it day by day? Yes to all the above. Yes to all the above. I will get a nice what do they call the happy planners, the happy teacher planners, and they follow the school year, so they're from like July to July. I will start out and I will probably get at least the first quarter, if not the first half of the year, planned out, like all the way through December. And I will get everything, the planned things that we have, things of our extracurricular activities like American Heritage Girls and Scouts, and I'll get all of that down on the calendar. I get our church stuff in there, vacations that I know about, get that all in there. And then we hit the school year and we always start after September 1st. So whenever that first Tuesday is, that right after Labor Day, we start our school year. And wouldn't you know, like it's usually right about Halloween time, something happens and the schedule blows up. And then we end up struggling till Thanksgiving. And then I have the best intentions of trying to do things for Christmas as far as school related. I have learned over the years, just don't bother doing anything in December. Because there's just so much going on. There's Christmas trees and there's baking and there's holiday specials on TV and there's all these extra, Christmas open houses for dance class and there's Secret Santa exchanges and youth parties and all these things, and we just never. There's too much shopping for all this stuff, so we just don't. And then we get to January to May. And usually right around Christmas break, I'll end up planning out the rest of the year. And then usually around March or so, we're just kind of like, and we end up winging it. When I first started homeschooling, those first few years, I would get the calendar out and I would put in every day, this is the lesson number we're going to do. And these are the things and blah, blah, blah. And it was all planned out for me and I loved it. But when somebody gets sick or when something happens, then you have filled in an entire 9 months of your year out. And then you end up having to go through and either erase it or you have to replan. And so I have learned not to plan out an entire year. That's for me. Some people it works well, but I plan every day to start at a certain time every day. And then we build our schedule from there. All right. People worry about your kids being socialized, but are you? How do you make time to be around other grown folks? Oh, am I socialized? I don't know about that. Okay. How do I make time to be around other grown folks? Okay. Being truthful, y'all, that's very hard because as a homeschool mom, I'm wanting to get my kids where they need to be for a dance class, for American Heritage Girls, for scouting, for some activity with our church youth group, with their friends, just hanging out with friends. It's been so much of trying to do that for them that doesn't leave a whole lot of time left for adult time. And it's hard enough having the family time or couple time, and that's hard enough in the family, whether to having other time with grown folks. Over the years, I have cherished the time that I've had at my church with my church friends and family, Bible studies that I would do with women at our church, or like we have small groups, so it's a deeper Bible study, a deeper discussion about Jesus and things of the Bible, and I will cherish that time, which is an hour a week. And then, of course, Sunday morning worship with church family, getting out and being around people. I cherish that time. That's every week, every Sunday, and every Thursday for our small group. Girl time is very hard. That's not as often as I would like for it to be. It's very hard to get with other women, other homeschool moms, to have a lunch or have a coffee date or a girls weekend. It's hard because we have to make sure that our family's taken care of if we were to go away for a weekend. I didn't really talk on the phone a lot. I mean, now, the rise of social media. When I first had my kids, my oldest was born in 2000. We didn't have Facebook, and we didn't have, all this social media stuff. We had AOL. And we have phones. We have the rise of social media, and that's gotten a little easier to kind of stay connected throughout the week. But yeah, just finding time. It's really important to do that and to build it into your schedule if you can. Build date nights with your husband, or however your family makeup is. Make time to be together. Make time for family time. Don't let other things kind of take that over, because we can just take that for granted. We all live together. We just kind of survive and get through the year, the homeschool year, and get through these things. So really take time to make that a priority. This part here is a little serious, but we're talking about being truthful, and I want to say something to dads or the other person who is not homeschooling primarily in the family. But for me, I want to make a message to dad. Don't just come home and kick off your shoes and veg out in front of the TV or in your man cave or whatever. Your kids need to interact with you, and so does your wife. And it's very important that you take the time when you come home to interact and connect with your kids. They want to show you something that they learned, or you want to find out what they're reading, or just to hang out in color. If this is, if they're younger, hang out and maybe play a video game with them, play a table game with them, interact with them. Not so much as in the kids have to come and report to you, like they have to stand in line and salute you and give a report of everything that's done for the day. We're not talking about that, but I am talking about just hanging with them and talking with them, connecting with them as much as you can. I know we're all busy, and this is the year 2020, so everything has been set back a lot. So there's no reason why we can't connect even more, because we've all been home. But we should make those times to connect, and then ask your wife what she needs. Ask her how you can help with homeschooling. Find out what she's doing, where she needs help. Help her grade papers. Look over your child's work to see how well they're doing or where they're struggling. And maybe there's an area that you can help. If you have an expertise in a certain area, then you may be able to talk to your child. You may be able to read with them. Kind of giving your wife a break when you come home, because she's with the kids pretty much 24/7. And so it's very important for the kids to interact with you. And I know you're tired when you come home from work, but so is she. And she's tired because she's been at work all day. So that's my public service announcement message, being serious, because we're being very truthful here in this homeschool mom tag. All right, let's get into the rest of this. All right, how many times do you have to reheat the same cup of coffee a day? Let me tell you, I did something years ago, and I asked, how many times can you reheat 1 cup of coffee a day? It's kind of like that Tootsie Roll commercial. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? The world will never know. Do you even remember where you left your cup of coffee? Okay, no, a lot of times I lose it. And then my kids know, they'll say, Mom, have you checked the microwave? Because usually the microwave is my place to store my coffee, because I'll reheat it and it stays in there. A long time ago, I don't know if they make these anymore, but a long time ago, there was this little hot plate that you could put under your mug, and you plug it in, and there's this little hot plate you can put on there, and it would keep your coffee warm. But I thought it was the neatest thing, because my coffee gets cold faster than I can drink it. And especially this time of year, it's winter, it's cold, the ceramic cups your coffee just gets cold unless you chug it. The clapper, where's my coffee? All right, when asked what grade is your child in, do you counter question with, do you mean by subject? Yes. I'm sorry, this is so funny, because when my kids will be like, so what grade are you in school? And they look at me, they're like, what is that? For the longest time, they didn't know what freshman, sophomore, junior, senior was, because we just don't really deal with that. We're not in high school, so we don't have to, we're not in public high school, so we don't have to really deal with that, right? Um, and so I had to explain to them what freshman, junior, all that stuff was. There was some curriculum that we used that was only on level. It was like level A, B, C, and D when you were in level, like in math levels. There were times when my kids were further ahead in certain subjects, and it was usually math that was lagging behind whatever. That's right where she needed to be. And let me just say that. If your kids are not behind, they're right where they need to be. Okay? If your kids on a intellectual level can handle, seventh grade math, they are a ninth grader, but they're doing seventh grade math, but that could be different for any curriculum, okay? Because sometimes seventh grade math in one curriculum is like light years ahead of where other seventh grade math curriculums are. So it's just ridiculous. So just your child is where they need to be. We can put so much pressure on ourselves to try to make sure that our kids are in a certain grade and following these things in it, and we feel that they can get behind. But no, if they are doing math every single year and they are progressing, you're good, they're good. Now, if they have their sights set on going to an Ivy League college or something, well, then they may have to take some extra classes in math and try to figure out how to get up in those math classes into like calculus and things. So it's based on what your child needs and their ability, and they are just fine. So last question is, explain your definition of free time. Okay, so when my kids were younger, free time was like being able to get a shower. Sometimes that's going to the bathroom by yourself. Free time was going to the grocery store by myself. Free time is hard when you're a homeschool parent because there's always something that needs to be done. There's scheduling, there's grading papers. If you wait to grade papers, oh Lord, you will be in for it. Doing it once a week is great. Especially when they get up in the higher grades, when you're talking like junior high, high school, you need to be on top of grading papers, or else it will quickly pile up and you will regret it. Usually when I had free time, and I still do this, when I have free time, I fall asleep. I fall asleep when I have free time because if I have time to slow down, I will fall asleep. But free time would be, it's in the morning before the kids get up. I will get up early so I can have free time. I can have quiet time before everybody gets up. Because once everybody's up, forget it. I won't get anything until everybody goes to bed. But my kids are older and they stay up later. And since, this is 2020, there's not a lot of places to go and stuff anyway. So my kids are up late. Their schedules are later. We don't have to get up early or anything. So I make a point to get up early and have at least an hour to 2 hours of time where I'm just by myself. I can pray, I can study the Bible, I can read a book, I can have some coffee, and that's when I'm trying to get my exercise time in the morning, and do that all before everybody gets up, and that's my free time. If your homeschool were a book, song, or movie, what would be the title? I don't know. It would be something, because our family is crazy. I've often wanted to make sure that my family was like the Cosby Show family, or the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where there's crazy Will and Uncle Phil, the dad of the family, and he's all about trying to be proper and learning and everything, but then here's this crazy nephew coming in and kind of upsetting everything, but everybody learns from him. And I kind of see that with our oldest daughter. She's kind of has been, and I say the crazy one, but she's the one that has been the quirkiest of us all, and she kind of keeps us on our toes, or just keeps us kind of off kilter, and makes us think about things. And I feel like at times I'm like Uncle Phil. Everything's got to be prim and proper, but then here comes this kid who's, this crazy nephew who's all backwards and everything, and that would be my daughter. She's all hat on sideways and sunglasses and wearing gloves on her hands in the summertime, and, all kinds of things. So I kind of think like that, but a little bit of Cosby Show in there, where we sit down and talk about trials and the things that happen. We make an event of it in the house. So I don't know. I think a cross between those two. It's not a book, song, or movie, but it's a TV show. So this has been fun. Again, a shout out to Ingrid from the Ingrid Chronicles for hosting this and for tagging me. And I'm going to tag Vani Gonzalez from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool if she hasn't already been tagged. But if you would like to join this, please make a video. Let Ingrid know that you would like to take a part of the Homeschool Mom Tag. She will be able to get your link, your video link, into the playlist so you could be a part of this. So y'all keep it real, keep it 100% real. And until next time, peace, love, healing.